Welcome, everyone, to the Handy at the Shandy podcast. I'm Boring Jack. I'm joined by Table Games James and Adam the Fraud. And in this part, we're going to be talking about my upcoming trip to Vegas, and we're going to get into some mailbag questions.
For people who don't know, it was a long pause after Jack gave that intro.
None of this is going to be in.
No, this is going to be in. Where are you staying for your trip?
So this trip was one that I got kind of roped into by Vegas Duffy, who was bugging me to come out this weekend. And I had been targeting this weekend as one for a possible Vegas trip. I'm going to be out there what's ultimately going to be the Thursday, the 31st of July through Sunday, the 3rd of August. I'll leave in the morning of that Sunday. And I was targeting this weekend because a lot of my coworkers are Canadian. And so if there's a Canadian holiday on a Friday or a Monday, that's a much easier weekend for me to get away a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And I can take that day off without it really being as impactful. And so that Monday, the 4th, is a Canadian holiday. And so I was like, I could try to do something where I just take that Monday, the 4th off and get out to Vegas in that time. But then Duffy was like, I'm going to be out there Tuesday through Saturday morning. You should come join.
He's out there so much this year. Yeah.
And I was like, that just doesn't really work for me. I'm trying to do a trip that ends on that Monday. Like I'm trying to cheat towards the later end of the weekend. And so I was just kind of thinking I was going to blow him off and not do it. But then I saw that Tim from The Better Life is also going to be out there that weekend and staying through to the Sunday. And I was like, okay, I could probably make this work. And I ultimately ended up doing the Thursday through Sunday, just kind of thinking along the same lines. I have to take a day off that my coworkers will be working, but at least when I get back, if I'm like, I don't want to say like jet lagged, but if I'm still like Vegas brained Monday morning when I have to start working, at least no one will be there. Mm-hmm. So I don't really have to answer to anyone. And then my friend Brian, whom James got to meet in February, he's going to be out there, and I got him to come stay at Palazzo as well. So I've got some stuff planned with him. The way I'm going to do it is fly out after work on Thursday. I have like a 5:30 flight, so I might have to cheat out a little early, but flying Delta direct from MSP. And I've got a question for you guys, which is if you had just a regular main cabin seat on a flight and you were looking at what are the upgrades to first class looking like, assuming that you don't have any status that's going to get you one. Mm-hmm. And you guys both fly from Chicago direct to Vegas with some regularity. So you kind of know about how long that flight is. It's about the same length as a Minneapolis flight. Kind of what kind of price point are you willing to hit for like a main cabin to first class upgrade for just that leg?
$0 for me, but that's because I am short. I am a relatively small person, and so I don't need extra room. I'm also usually not drinking on the flight to get to Vegas. So to me, the value of going from like main cabin or Comfort Plus or whatever up to first class. I mean, I guess I can't say
you do it for $20, but
I do it for like $20. I'd probably do it for 40. But like honestly, anything above that, I'm sitting there thinking, well, that's like tips for 8 drinks when I'm in Vegas. So I'd rather spend it there.
Well, for sure.
I'm at like $50 an hour, I think is what it is at that point. So that'd be for like $200. I think I would do it for.
Nice. Yeah. So I ended up obviously foreshadowing. Wee you, foreshadowing. I managed to find an upgrade for $160 for just that leg, which I was a little bit anchored by the fact that the upgrade they were trying to sell me, like the big splash page upsell that you see, was $380 or 38,000 miles or whatever, right? Something insane. One trick that I learned from Points and Miles people was that you want to look at what upgrade they're offering you and also just how much would it cost to rebook your flight to that higher fare class and just change the flight. And I did end up looking at that, and the flight change thing ended up being that $160 thing I mentioned. And so the fact that it was less than half at this price I'd already been anchored to also helped me. But it was definitely within the realm of where I'd be considering it anyways, kind of based on what Adam's saying. And I think for me, on the way to Vegas, I'm much more likely to want a nicer experience where you get drinks, you get a meal, you have more space. You get off the plane quicker.
Mhm.
That actually is worth a lot when you land in Vegas, even just for like the mental anguish you get from like watching 8 people struggle to get like one piece of carry-on luggage down from the
Yes.
bin. But anyways, so that's what I'm doing on the way to Vegas. I've got first class there, and then I'm like in row 28 on the way back. But on the way back, nothing really matters. You're already sad. You're not going to make it any better by being in like a slightly better
That's
seat.
fair.
So I get in around 7. My thought is that I'm going to try to play at Resorts World that night when I get in, because I have some July free play with them that would be expiring the next day. So I can go in and pick up a bit of free play and get some play in there, and then probably just go to bed. I'm going to see if I can get someone like Duffy to come join me for some cocktails over there at that Resorts World High Limit bar that I like so much. But I'm going to try to get to bed at a reasonable hour, which for me in Vegas is around like 10 p.m. So maybe you get a couple hours in at Resorts World and then hit the sack. And that's kind of the Thursday plans.
It's a good plan.
Friday, I've got lunch planned with my buddy Brian at Estatorio Milos, which formerly was at the Cosmo. Now it's at those Restaurant Row between Venetian and Palazzo. And they have a prefix lunch special that's still reasonably cheap. I think it's still in like the $50 to $60 range, where you get like a 3-course. It's like a Greek seafood restaurant. So you get like a 3-course lunch, including like a fish entree of some sort.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All the canal shops, like, well, not all of them, but like there's some surprisingly good happy hours in there and some good fixed menu prices throughout the canal shops. I think it goes a little bit, it's not talked about as much.
I know that Duffy he asked me if I wanted to join for lunch on that Friday. And I said, I'm probably not doing lunch on Friday. Usually I eat just like a big breakfast and then have a big dinner. And in the interim, you subside on alcohol, because beer has food value, but food doesn't have beer value.
It's fair. It's a good point.
It's a good point. That's the slogan.
Well put.
I told Duffy I wasn't going to make it for lunch, and then I just quick booked lunch with my other friend. So Josh, if you're listening, fuck you. So yeah, what I have booked for Friday is lunch at Milos, dinner at Yardbird with Duffy and some other folks, and in the interim, probably just drinking and gambling at that Palazzo High Limit bar. Maybe try to get to see one of our favorite craps dealers at the Venetian, maybe in a quick pre-dinner crap stint. But that's about the plan for Friday.
Do we think we could start a petition to get them to put more terminals in that bar? Like, if we all go there enough.
I suspect that they probably don't like the fact that it's like people going there to play video poker. I think they want the bar to be an amenity for their high limit table games players, and not a place that people are playing like $5 to $10 a spin all day long. That would be my guess. I think if we keep going there enough, they're going to take the terminals out.
It's the opposite.
No, I don't believe that, but I don't see that happening, especially because to cut into the bar to put in the more, it would be a huge refresh of that space, I think, to even do something like that.
Damn.
I was gonna say we're going to Yardbird as well. I forgot about that because they have gluten-free fried chicken there.
Oh, that's cool.
Good happy hours there too. Yeah.
I've only been there once, and I thought the food was just great. It was like there was too many sides that I didn't get to try that like you wanted to order. And so going there with a big group will be nice. That I'll hopefully get to try just a bunch of stuff.
And Yardbird's a chain too, isn't it? But it's one of like the better chains that I feel like you can get. It's not like Rainforest Cafe. Like it's actually has legit.
Well, and Estatorio Milos is a chain.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
that exists in a handful of destinations. A lot of those places in Vegas, you go to their restaurant website and you see, we also have like Miami, New York, Dubai, and Paris or whatever, right? Like they're big tourist destination chains. And yeah, to some extent, I feel like the food there is maybe not as good as some places, but a lot of restaurants in Vegas are not spectacular and are just good. And it's okay to eat at those.
Outback.
Yeah, that's the type of chain that I'm definitely going to be avoiding. But if you have enough Casino Royale comps, then maybe you can.
I forgot there was Subway. Is there still Subway in there?
I don't know. They have footlong hot dogs. I don't know what other types of footlongs they have.
I'll make sure we stop by Casino Royale.
Please.
So I'll have a really good trip report for y'all next time.
We need our best handy at the shandy footlong report. Where can you get food that is 12 inches long in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
So then I only have 2 full days in town. I've got that Friday and Saturday. Saturday I have even less planned. We're going to try to walk into Bouchon,
Do
my
you
favorite
love that
place to eat
place?
breakfast.
Yeah.
I feel like I would just eat there once a trip, every trip, and not feel bad about it. Mostly because there just aren't that many places in Vegas that are open for breakfast, and they all serve very similar fare. Like what you get at Siddell's is not that different from what you get at the Henry, which is not that different from what you get at like Planet Dailies or Cafe Hollywood or stuff like that, right? Like a lot of them are just kind of
It's breakfast.
diner food,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And so Bouchon being different from that in some unique ways and being as good as it is means it's going to be a kind of a must visit for me.
Now, Jack, are you going to walk from Venetian Palazzo like over to Vidara and then back just to get that experience of having to walk to Bouchon?
It actually on my Friday list. I wasn't going to mention it because I was going to get made fun of. But in the morning before Milos, I'm going to try to just do like a walk of like the whole strip, because otherwise I'm already planning on just drinking and gambling all day. And so this is kind of like James builds in time in the evening to go to a show and do that kind of stuff. I build in time in the morning to like get outside,
get your steps
and walk
in
around, and get some steps in and that kind of stuff.
Touch grass.
Touch the turf at the pet relief area.
We need a Bouchon counter on this podcast for how many times you mentioned it. It's like Bavette's for me, Bouchon for you.
It's just such a unique breakfast offering compared to other places in Vegas. And the fact that they're only open 3 days a week for breakfast means that, like, depending on when your trip lies, you can often be like, oh, this is the only day I can get in there, so I guess I have to.
Yeah, I made you slum it with me at Grand Lux Cafe. You were disappointed the entire meal. Like, this could have been Bouchon, but I'm having some stale
that breakfast
eggs.
quesadilla there I thought was great, actually.
Okay.
I was a fan of the food there. I think
not the company.
I would well, I wasn't a fan of the service there.
No,
certainly we
forever.
sat there for like 45 minutes before they took our order.
It was awful.
But I would be very happy to go to Grand Lux Cafe and get food to go and take it up to my room in lieu of getting room service in the morning.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that
fair,
would be a really good idea, and I might try to do that at some point. But for Saturday, I'm going to try to walk into Bouchon and sit at the bar there. My buddy Brian wanted to join, and he was like, "Oh, I think I could get us like a 10:45 for Bouchon." And I was like, "I would like to do 8 a.m.
Yeah, that's
but
late.
I'm flexible,
But
that's already like
it's
10 a.m.
It's
for me."
Bouchon, so I mean, you'll do it.
Well, yeah, but then he countered with like 9:15 as a compromise, and I was like, okay, I said I was flexible. I'm actually not. I'm probably going to do like 8 a.m. So we'll see if he wakes up for that. But yeah, I realized immediately after saying that I was just lying to him about my flexibility. 8 is already like the latest I'm willing to get breakfast if I'm sticking to like a central time schedule.
Sure.
But then, so the other thing that we're doing on Saturday, other than me bidding Duffy farewell and trying to get as much, drinks in with him as possible before he has to fly home for 2 days before returning to Vegas, is that I am going to now join the trend of eating dinner at Pisces. So me and Brian booked a dinner at Pisces, and we're going to see what that's all about.
And that's talking Pisces.
Yeah, and then Sunday I fly home. So I didn't have a lot of like logistical things to worry about on this trip. The main thing I'm worrying about is what we talked about in hour 1, which was how am I going to keep myself busy other than the extensive amounts of drinking and gambling I have planned, which there's only so much room in your budget and in your liver budget.
Well, and you go out with those guys, like that's what they have planned. So it's not like, they're going to get up and be like, let's go to the forum shops and go shopping. Like it's craps and video poker is what's going to happen.
And I'm looking forward to it. We'll see I haven't coordinated with Tim at all, but I'll see what he's up to, and I'll try to get a drink with him at some point. I got to see him briefly at 360 Vegas Vacation, but the larger the meetup, the less likely it is you'll get to see anyone that you wanted to see. So
yeah, I've been excited to go again because when I go with Kim, when I go with my wife, she loves to gamble too, and we can spend the whole day gambling, but it's a lot easier for me to be like, well, let's go get this nicer dinner, or let's go see this show, or let's walk this place that we haven't done in a little while. When I go on like either solo trips or like meeting like just like some dudes out there that I know just want to like gamble and golf and drink, like it can, a couple days can just wreck you.
So on that topic, I'm going to segue us into the mailbag here.
Oh, good transition.
My buddy Ben wrote in, and this was apropos of what James mentioned on the last episode that we've kept bringing up here, is that he likes having structured, scheduled time away from gambling. And Ben says, I actually wish you guys had talked more about that. Like, what's the contingency plan if you just get reamed for $2,000 each of your first 2 days there? He says, it's one thing I find unappealing about Vegas, which is if I don't cash in the tournament and I drop 50 big bets in the cash games I'm playing, I'm out like $3,000 to $5,000, and then I have no interest in gambling further. James, why don't you start on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had trips where I've gotten wrecked early and I've had a day or two left where, my budget was a lot lower. I can still go and enjoy myself like playing single line 25-cent video poker, and I kind of have I change my mindset of like, okay, I'm going to do Vegas cheap. I'm going to find a video poker bar that I can kind of slow play, and I'll stay in the room. Most of the time I'm staying in like a super nice room that I never would stay at. So I still will like Vegas even if I get killed the first couple of days. Also, I mean, I think only one or maybe two times I've had it where I was like, I'm out of money and I've got, 24 or 48 hours left. Usually I'm good enough to have reserves in the sense that here's the budget I'm bringing, but there's usually one or two more ATM bullets sitting there just in case. I can move money around. It's like, well, this is probably not what I should do. However, I'm in Vegas, so what's another $500?
Break glass in case of emergency.
Exactly. I always have a break glass in case of emergency amount. But I think there's so much. I think there's just great. It's a great city, so there are things to do. Like I'll go downtown and just walk Fremont Street and be like, this is nuts. I can't believe this exists. And like that's a few hours. I went to the container park once downtown because I was like, well, I don't want to spend some money, so let's go do that. So I think there's a lot of things that Ben could do if he loses money. And also, you just have a positive attitude. You're not going to lose that money, right? You're going to win.
Yeah, what do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I like starting a little bit slower. So like Jack, when you talk about like getting in a little bit later, I actually kind of like those days because it's like, all right, I don't actually have that much time to gamble. So like I'm going to take it easy on day one and just maybe a single line a little bit, get some free drinks at, whatever, if you're going to Crystal Bar at Resorts World, or if you're at Shandy and you just, like I said, slow play it a little bit, single line it. And then I start to kind of ramp it up potentially as the trip goes on. And usually like I'm out there either with my wife who hates gambling or with some friends, and we all have kind of different bankrolls. And so I'll tack on an extra day that's just kind of for me. And that's kind of my gambling day, right? So I'm doing that in September where it's like everyone's going home on Tuesday. I'm staying until Wednesday. It's like Tuesday afternoon, evening. That's the day to myself that I can, take care of business, if you will. Very modest business, but business nonetheless.
I love that, and I have not thought about that. And I bet Kim would go for it if I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna stay an extra day just so like I can be a degenerate by myself." She'd be like, "Sure, please do."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm doing the same in like F1 weekend too, where like a couple people are going home. Like, all right, well, I'm actually going to stay I'm saying 2 days after. Like all the hoopla, like everybody leaves for F1, and I'm there for 2 days as it slows down, just to kind of do what I want to do, explore, see what I want to see. And it's been rare that I actually have cases of like, because I'm very risk averse, even as my bankrolls have gotten bigger. So I've never really had an instance where I'm out of money completely and I have to go see Matt King like 3 times. But if that did happen, like, yeah, I'd probably just drop down to like, instead of like Ultimate X, I'd do like single line, or maybe go downtown and gamble on the cheap, $5 table downtown Grand or something like that, if I really had to get my fix in.
It seems like one thing that we agree on, and this is true for me as well, is that none of us are really into like chasing our losses. Like,
no.
if you're breaking glass to get in a more emergency budget, it's because you're going to try to string that remaining budget along as long as possible, right? You're not going to like go to the ATM, take out 500, put it on black so that if it hits, you have more to gamble with, right? And so, as I definitely feel the same way. And one thing, like to Adam's point, whenever we do a trip where it's like we do 2 nights downtown and then 2 nights on the strip, like I have coming up at the end of August, I always try to order it like that, where you're going to do the kind of the low rolling first, and then you can what's a good way to put it? You're going to low roll first. You're not going to be high rolling after that, but
No, you're
mid roll.
You're just ramping it up. You're ramping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, for me, I feel like I generally I get disheartened enough by losing that when I'm losing, I don't want to gamble more,
Mhm.
right? Which is good, right? Like that's a good personality trait to have, which means that like, yeah, I could probably lose 2,000 on the first day and 2,000 on the next day, and that would be pretty bad. But like, it's less likely that'll happen because once you're down the first 1,000, you're going to gamble a little more conservatively and a little less time, and you're going to make excuses to do other things,
Mhm.
even just on the first day or on the second day and stuff like that. And so it really ebbs and flows with how you're doing, your desire to like keep gambling. But as a result, the inverse is true. Whereas if you get a big hit early on, I'm a lot more likely to just spend the whole day gambling, still at the same levels I was before, but just for a lot longer than I had planned. And so you can end up giving it back for that reason.
Yeah, I don't ramp up after modestly sized win. I like to retain it as much as I can. So I know I always feel like that's a responsible thing, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't ramp up at all, ever really. Like I play my $7.50 a spin at Ultimate X, and I don't deviate from that. And that really is much to the chagrin of the two bartenders at the Resorts World High Limit Bar, whom I'm on good terms with. They're always like, after you get like a $500 hit, like why not just play down like 300 at dollars and just see if you can hit something? Like, and I'm like, I'm already playing high enough that I can lose a lot. Like this is already a stake that is like high enough for me that it's like almost uncomfortable, right? Like I can win a lot, but I can also just get wrecked for some like large sum of money. I don't need to try to like go from like what I was playing to what I was like aspiring to play, right? What I'm aspiring to play is what I'm already playing, which I think is kind of interesting, right?
That's fascinating to me. I mean, I am similar, but I think I do fall more like, I mean, prospect theory is saying that you're going to be way more risk loving with losses and way more risk averse with gains. And that's why, like, if you can stay pretty even keeled at a poker table, you can win, because the average recreational player, when they do get down there, are going to be chasing, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have never fallen into the I'm going to go take out money and like put it on black and like chase, but I do feel myself at times being like, man, I'm down. Let's play this video poker. Like I just lost 500 in this video poker machine. Like it's got to hit. Like let's go. Let's put $500 more in. I don't think I get that feeling like you get of, oh man, I'm down a little bit, so now I'm going to kind of back off, which I kind of wish I do. It'd be better for my overall bankroll. So that's interesting.
And another part about it is that because I'm taking more trips per year than I used to, towards the end of the trip, like let's say I'm leaving Sunday morning and it's Saturday afternoon at like 5 and I have dinner at 6 and I've been losing pretty bad. The money I have, even if I still have cash with me that I brought, that money starts to look an awful lot like next trip's bankroll, right? And so I'm already kind of looking forward to like, I could just take this money and have it the next time I'm here, which is soon enough that I don't feel compelled to like just kind of blow it out with the last 1,000 I have. And so I'm a lot more likely to just be like, I'm just going to go up to the room, hang out until dinner, and then after dinner kind of go for a walk and shut it down. And this money that I want to gamble with, it'll still be there next time.
I have the same exact thing where like retained money actually feels good, even if I didn't win for the trip, which is like I'm leaving with something that that was that kind of like opportunity cost. Like I could have lost this, I could have risked this, and I didn't. So like, yeah, let's pad the bankroll for next trip. And then I still don't bet differently though, so my bankroll just keeps building. It's like I've got to do something responsible with this at some point before I have too much in there.
My bankroll certainly doesn't keep building, I'll tell you that.
Maybe in a future episode we can talk about I'm a small business owner. So, having, going gambling a lot is great, right? I mean, I think it's part of the reason why I am. But for the past like 4 years since I quit my kind of like stable teaching professor job at Penn State, a lot of the trips I've gone to Vegas were like, okay, this is like my last trip. I don't know when my next one's going to be, because like if there's a downturn or if this like and then like the business starts to grow, so then I go again. And so this trip that we're going on right now, like Kim, my wife, just quit her job and is joining Tyranny Education full time, and so we're treating this as like a, hey, this might be our last like really like let's go get them trip, because we've got the bankroll, we have the funds now, and we don't know what the fall is going to look like. But fall started to look good, so now F1's in play, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And ideally, the ideal situation is that I'm just going to keep playing every single time and be like, this might be my last Vegas trip, and then the business grows, so the next one, and just keeps going up. That's the plan, but who knows? Jack, what else do we got in the mailbag? Did Ben ask other questions?
We got time for one more.
Yeah, I know Adam's got a hard out here, but
it's a soft out. A soft out handy, yeah.
He's the one that was the original progenitor of. He was the original progenitor of what is now going to be our first ever recurring segment, which is called "Is This Industry Chatter?"
Oh, yeah.
And he was the one that was giving me guff about saying property last time. One thing he singled out, I brought up gaming, saying gaming as opposed to gambling. One thing that kind of surprised him is that none of us saw the word play as an industry term. And that he says that when he watched that Louis Theroux BBC documentary on Vegas for the first time, maybe 10, 15 years ago, he was really surprised at how they used play as a euphemism for gambling. And to us, we don't even view it as a euphemism. No. We view it as that's what you do. Like, yeah, you're going to want to give him a lot of play the first time you're there, or he's a really big player.
Play through.
Or stuff like that. Yeah. And so, but as a result, like if you think about like what the word play means to most people, it is more associated with playing like a game that isn't gambling. And so I think it's kind of interesting. Like I've caught myself since he mentioned this kind of thinking about the way that I talk about play differently. I'm going to put in a lot of play at that bar.
No,
what I mean is I'm going to gamble a lot at that bar.
But I think it makes sense as a word, because you're not going to say like, I'm going to go gamble craps. Like I'm going to go play craps, right? I'm going to go play video poker. So like listen, I like him as much as I know him, and I don't know him at all. And I think gaming he's got a point on, but play I think it's right on. I think it works.
I think it's a good word, but I do think that we take for granted how it's used in the contexts that we live in, right?
I think, Jack, it depends on the way you're using it, right? Like there's a difference between I'm going to go play poker and play craps and be like, oh man, I'm going to go give this property some play. And so I think it's the like using it as like I'm going to go and give them some play. I think that's the industry chatter, which I'm going to continue to use, because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna gamble there. It's like, well, come on, nerd. Like, no, you're gonna give them some play.
We're gonna give them gamble.
I'm gonna go gamble there. Like, it just sounds repetitive. That to me, that's at industry chatter or not. I'm now moved off of whether or not it is, and whether or not it's just a nerd term that I don't agree with.
I do like a big player, though, being a descriptor for someone who gambles and loses a lot. Oh, yeah, they're a big player. You don't want to say they're a big loser.
Right. Oh, they're a whale. They're a big gambler. Like that just, come on. I guess, yeah, we are softening the term.
And that was, is this industry chatter? So we've got some more stuff in the mailbag. We also need to get around to talking about what we normally like to do in Vegas and how we evolved from that sort of nascent discussion that we had earlier, where we talked about how we got started in Vegas and kind of how we got to where we are today. And so I think we'll do that in the next episode. Adam had a topic that he wanted some listener feedback on before the next episode.
Well, one was, how many times are you going to say nascent in one episode? I think it's twice. It's word of the day. If for Pee Wee Herman would have been yelling, yeah. But two, I think we're starting kind of casually on this show of like a tier list of, or tier stat. No, not tier status. Yeah, tier list. A tier list of video poker bars, right? We'd put Palazzo at S tier. Shandy clearly, I mean, it's beyond S tier at this point. But we have started talking about like backup bars or like honorable mention video poker bars. There's a couple in my mind that, that come right up. Not quite at that S tier level, but like pretty good. You would still seek it out if you were kind of in that area. So if people can let us know on Twitter, I'll probably put up a poll or something. We don't have any show specific social media handles yet because Jack hasn't done it. But I'll put it out. I want to know that your honorable mention video poker bars, and you can take that to mean whatever you want, right? Maybe it's got good odds, maybe it's just great drinks, vibe, whatever, kind of all the above. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
I'm still kind of stuck into your idea of tier status. Like, what if we flip the script on these casinos and make them earn tier points with us to get up to the next tier? And like, we could do like a tier accelerator where like, yeah, if you hit a hand pay at that bar, then it bumps it up by like 10,000 tier points. And we could see who earns gold with us quickest.
Is that too nascent though for our discussion?
Jesus Christ.
We're also going to have some, hopefully some good trip reports coming up.
Right, yeah. The next time you hear from us, we will both have been back from the trips you just heard about, and we're just going to tell you everything we just told you, but in the past tense.
Yes.
We're gonna just tell you about how everything we had planned did not go as planned. Although I will 100% talk about the Backstreet Boys and Kelly Clarkson concerts, because it's just going to be something different.
Yeah, we'll take odds on whether or not James spills something on his white outfit before he gets to the concert. That's such a risk.
That's another topic I want to talk about on the next episode, which is people's predilection in Vegas to dress differently, to dress up, to dress ostentatiously. So maybe next time we'll each share the strangest thing we've worn in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I feel like
you won't believe what Adams is.
Yeah, well, I just feel like the dress code for if you have a yard drink is no sleeves. That I know to be true. 100% of people that walk around with yard drinks are not wearing sleeves in Las Vegas.
And
that's talking yard
Handy
drinks
at the Shandy.
All right, get us out of here, Jack.
I'm Boring Jack. For Table Games James and Adam the Fraud, that was Handy at the Shandy, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks for listening.
Yep. Later, guys.
Do you want to hit that stop button?
Yep.